talking to Chris and John, and they said, it must be hard to inspire people, especially our industry, in today's world. And I said, well, I never thought that the beauty industry would be hit quite as hard as it has been. I mean, we've been hit probably the hardest, beauty restaurant bars. Uh, Yet I see newscasters keep talking about everybody but us and how hard we were hit. The reality is that there's going to be times in our lives where we're hit hard in a number of ways by a number of things, not necessarily Corona, but a million different things. And always the key to life is to make the moment matter, to get the best out of your day, to figure out what you're going to do. Now, please don't get me wrong, and I don't want to make anyone feel bad, and I don't want you to look at after the fact thinking. I want you to take this into thinking about looking at before the fact thinking. What is to come? What's it going to be like? What's the next year like? What does the future look like? So here's what I'll share with you. My salon was in Georgetown, Washington, D.C., my flagship salon. So I had a lot of customers from the National Institute of Health, some of which I remained friends with and still are now. So I knew about this way ahead of time, way before it happened. And once I found out, I called my friends in Europe, my family in Italy, my friends in Holland, in Germany, and in Ireland to find out what exactly was happening there, thinking that it would then come across the ocean and hit America. So I had a pretty good hold on what it had done to their economy, how hard it was to work, how hard it was to find masks, find food, find toilet paper, how to be prepared. I think the most important thing at times like this is to try to be a step ahead of the curve. Try to be a step ahead of the nuts. I mean, there's still nuts out there. There's going to be people out there that are going to wear a mask all the time. There's going to be people out there that are never going to put a mask on. There's going to be people out there that don't believe this is even true, that it's some type of a conspiracy. That's just people. You've got to decide where you want to be and then make yourself an example and a role model. I was with a friend yesterday that said, do you think I should put a mask on? I said, I absolutely think you should, just out of respect for the other person. I think you should put a mask on out of respect for them. So I'm looking at the beauty industry, looking at where, hi, Kim, I see that you're there and I got your email and we'll get things right. Uh, Here's what I think is going to happen and what I think is going to take place. And then I'm going to share with you how I think all of you could benefit from this. It doesn't mean that it's a terrible time. I mean, please understand that we've had incredible economic growth the last 10 years. And in 1 month, the last month, the whole 10 years of economic growth have disappeared, are gone. Now, what does it mean actually for the beauty industry? Will money be tighter? Yes. Will it be a lot tighter with certain people? Of course it will. People like some of us who haven't worked for weeks, who are at a loss for income. But those of you that went through 9/11, if you can relate, it's that same kind of feeling right now. How in times like this, people don't care as much about possessions. People begin to reflect on life, what's important, what really matters. People tend to forgive more and forgive easier. People drive nicer, people are more generous, people are more giving, people are willing. I want you to think about the people that are willing to help you. I want you to stay close to the people in the beauty industry that have made an effort to help you, teach you, train you, take care of you, provide you. I've been talking about the Professional Beauty Association left, right, and backwards because they've been giving grants and money to people that are in desperate need. And I think that the PBA, from start to finish, every time there's an issue, always comes through. It's very inexpensive to join, and it's a great, outstanding representation of our industry. Okay, so to see the writing on the wall of what more is to come, I think all of us need to practice learning how to read people better. And please, if you're listening to this and you're taking notes, understand that most artists are not great readers of people. So the best thing you could do is take advantage of this short amount of time you have left. Get a couple of good books on how to read people better, and make sure you surround yourself with people that care about you, that want you to grow, that are willing to work with you, that are loyal to you, that are going to stay with you. All of these things are so important. And I see somebody made mention to what books. We will address that at the end of the program. As a matter of fact, when we get through, I'll create an actual Monaco Blue book list for you and make it available to there's only 115 people. My email is Geno, Geno at genostampora.com. Stampora is like postage stamp, ORA. Geno at genostampora.com. If you'll email me, tell me you were on. Bear with me for a couple days to get back to you. I'll email you back a great book list or two. If you have a challenge in books, mention them in your email, and I'll get you the best book I can. I am here to help. I am taking responsibility for my industry. I want my industry to pull through this, not as good as it was before this, but better after this. I'm proud of the fact that much of my industry was better prepared for this than the United States government was. That we've really done well with education. We've done well with getting supplies. And I know a lot of you may ask me some very personal questions about reopening, and I have to share with you. It's important that you understand. I don't know in Ohio or in Michigan or in wherever you are if it's exactly the same. In Virginia, it actually is different in every county. Every county has, you see, no one knows. No one really knows what's going to happen. No one really knows the rules. Things are being made up every day. We're in a brand new place in the world. So it's very difficult to really answer some questions in regard to where we're going to end up, or where this is going to take us, okay? What I would do if I were you on a personal basis, number one, I would stop spending any unnecessary money as an individual and as a company. Number two, I would remember that the most important thing is to stay safe. So the most important thing you can do is to keep yourself, your family, and the people that you've bonded to, that you're seeing and talking to, all have to stay safe. Stay home, stay out of unprotected areas. Pay attention to what, more than anything, Anthony Fauci, Dr. Fauci, and the CDC is saying about this disease and illness, and how to avoid it and what to do. If you can, and it's available, stock up on gloves and masks. You're going to need them for a long time to come. This is just because we're opening, not going to go right away. Okay. Next, pay attention to the media to some degree. I think too much news is bad at this time, because I think they harp on making us crazy. I mean, I don't know about you, but I watch the news and I just want to go out back and put a noose in a tree and hang myself, because I feel like there's no future. So I'm trying ways to avoid the news for the most part. Now, you also need to have a plan, not just a plan for work, but even a plan for home. How do you make this time effective? How do you make these last few weeks that we've had to reflect on what's important and what's not important effective? What is your plan going forward? Your personal plan going forward. Think about this. Heart attacks in America in the last month are down 45%. I think there's three reasons why. People aren't going to jobs that they don't like. People are avoiding the stress itself and looking at the stress of life. When you put the news on and see New York City or Los Angeles, California, or any place in Italy, and the deaths, and trying to find hospital beds, and everybody scared to death about that, so they've kind of forgotten about themselves. See, what I'm saying is, there's good that comes out of all things. And if you're prepared, you can get the good out of most. So your personal plan should be, how do you increase your value to the marketplace personally? Now, you've been home for a while. What have you read? What have you studied? What have you listened to? What have you been involved in? I can tell you, as I said earlier, I've done over 60 Zooms the last 30 days. 60 Zooms with the beauty industry, all about how to be better at who we are, how to be better at what we do, how to talk better, how to sell better, how to understand more, how to read people better, how to get through life in an easier way, how to understand communication now that we're going to have a mask on. People aren't even going to know if you're smiling. You're not going to be able to hug for a while. So, how are you going to let them know that it matters to you, that they matter to you, that you care about who you are and what you're doing, how happy you are to be back to work? Now, for all of you that want, and if I have it, I should have it right here. I will read it for you. I try to make things as clear and as easy as possible for the public. Most of them don't understand. So I created a very simple coronavirus page to have on the front door. If you'd like a copy, please email me and I will get it to you. To our valued guests, we are delighted to be back in action. We are ready and we know that you are ready. We want to thank you for your patience and loyalty. Those of you who could not wait are forgiven and we will get you right. That's the first paragraph. What I'm saying is, we want to thank the people that took the time to wait for us. We want to forgive the people that decided to cut their own hair or get it cut someplace else or do something else, but you want to honor the loyalty of your guest. Next, Corona 19 is rapidly changing, and so are the rules. Let them know that the standard we have to live by today may change by next week. It may change by next month. Here is what we are doing to ensure your safety and the safety of our staff. Why is this so important? You want every customer to feel comfortable being in your environment. They need to feel, see, hear, and smell safety. They need to feel, see, hear, and smell the fact that you care. See, all of a sudden, licenses have become way more important. All of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, do you know that my beauty license right up on my wall right here in my office, the first 3 months of that beauty license was sanitation, disinfecting, understanding how to do things right. So all of a sudden, everybody, it's important now. Licensing has become so important. And I want them to know that I was prepared for this before this even happened. Are you with me? If you're with me, say yes. I can't hear you. Okay,
Yeah.
next. Thank you. I heard that. We would prefer if everyone wore masks for the time being. We will let you know when our policy changes. I think you and every person that comes into your salon should wear a mask. It may be mandatory, it may not. I think we should wear them right now. I think it's a little uncomfortable until you get used to it. You'll forget that you even have it on, and it will make them feel safer. Okay, please don't come if you're not feeling well, and please don't bring anyone who's not feeling well with you. And we are committed to doing the same. Now, I don't know if you're aware, I spoke this morning to prepare for this afternoon's presentation to some salons in Georgia. They are taking people's temperatures and the staff's temperature to make sure no one has a fever. Just saying, okay? We have an active, serious sanitation process and checklist in place. We will constantly sanitize the restrooms, doorknobs, surfaces, and everything that's touchable. The salon will be disinfected every evening at close time. We will all keep our distance, so we are asking for right now no hugs or handshakes or any unnecessary touching. All towels and smocks and tools will be disinfected constantly throughout the day. We appreciate you and your business. Please help us keep this environment safe. If you see anything that makes you feel uncomfortable, please help us by sharing. You matter to us, and we will do whatever we can to make this work for all of us. From all of us at Geno's, we thank you for your business and loyalty. Email me. I'll get you a copy of this. You can rewrite it and make it yours and put it outside on the front door to get people to understand who we are, why we're doing what we're doing, and how important it is. I hope that makes sense to all of you. So I know I'm giving you a lot, and I know I'm going real fast. Maybe I should break for just a moment and say, Are there any serious questions I should answer right now,
One
like
of the
before?
one of the
Uh,
questions is, what is the best way to avoid talking about COVID-19? That comes from Darlene Weimer.
well, that's a great question because it's certainly heavy on your mind, like it is mine. Everybody's going to talk about it, and it's important to understand that. Now, I don't know about you, but this is a good time for me to share with you in answering this question. It's going to be lengthy, but I'm going to explain. I love us. I love everything about us. I love this industry. I love the fact that I'm a hairdresser. I love Monaco Blue. I've worked with the Maley's family for over 30 years. We have loyal friendships. I think all of that stuff is so important. I mean, when I go away on vacation and my family wants to go to a theme park, I tell them to go to a theme park and I go to a salon and visit my people, my family, because I love us. I love the sanctuary of the inside of a beauty salon. And I think there's only a few things when someone's in a beauty salon that they should talk about, focus on. I don't think we should ever talk about people. I don't think we should ever talk about things or possessions. This is a beauty salon. We should talk about beauty. We should talk about love. We should talk about, and please write this down, all things good. I am known for all things good. If it's not good, I'm not going to share it. If it's not good, I'm not going to talk about it. So I think to answer your question, this is very important for you because it's an important time for you to take over the dialogue and take over the conversation and learn how to direct people in your direction. One of the things I used to teach all the time was when a customer comes in, the first thing you should say to them, this is years back now, the first thing you should say is, what's happening great in your life right now? Because it would make them feel good, think about something good, and they wouldn't bombard you with the fact that my husband's having an affair, Susie's on drugs, the dog's missing, and I don't know where my son is. And all of a sudden, you're plagued with 15 conversations like this. So start to script a dialogue of what you should talk about and maybe have a catchphrase to share with the customer. Listen, while you're here, let's not talk corona, let's not talk bad, let's not talk COVID. Let's escape from that for your 45 minutes with me. And let's just talk about life, how lucky we are to be alive, how lucky we are to be here, and to understand that in 5,000 years of recorded history, our world has overcome everything. Will things be different now? Yes. But will we overcome? Yes. I hope I answered your question. Okay, what else do we have? Do we have any pressing questions?
I don't see anything.
Fantastic. No problem. Then I'll just rock on.
Okay. If you
All
have
right.
a question, put it in the Q&A.
Please do, because I'd love to answer your questions. I'd like you to be able to leave this seminar at 4 o'clock and say, okay, I feel better. I have the outline to create a plan. I know what I'm going to have to do tomorrow or next week or next month when I get back to work. So here's a very important thing. Uh, what will the future look like in a salon? First of all, you might want to consider opening more hours and having shifts, especially if you're a salon owner, uh, maybe 7 days a week, just to accommodate everyone. Okay, we're not going to be able to have too many people in the salon at one time. You're going to have to learn what the law will allow. And for a while, there's going to be no touching, and there's going to be super sanitation, and you're going to have to explain disinfectants and sanitation and how you do it. Everything's got to be clean and shiny like never before. Leave no room for a customer to assume. Uh, I think we should have gloves and masks, whatever we need, on board for the customer to make them feel comfortable and safer. Remember, when a customer feels comfortable and safer, they feel more like they can trust you. I've always felt it was important to create a trusting atmosphere and let them know that I'm never going to sell them something they don't need. I'm never going to make them get something that they don't need. I'm always going to be there with them in mind. I'm always going to put the customer before the dollar and know that the dollar will follow. I will never be a hairdresser who puts the dollar in front of the cause. It's not who I am. It's not what I do. Now, I do think you should be ready to answer some questions as they come along. And here's a few things I know. Some salons are going to charge a COVID care charge as a result of having to maybe have masks and gloves. Some aren't, some don't like it. Some are going to raise their prices immediately. Now, one thing's for sure, your color customers, it should cost more because you're going to use more product. And you have to take that into consideration. It's been a long time. But here's the thing to think about with customers, they're going to see you differently. They missed you more than they thought. They've missed the environment in a salon more than they thought. They don't like the way they were starting to look more than they thought. They see a new value in us more than they ever imagined. I don't know if any of you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, but my most popular Instagram post ever was my post last month of Leonardo DiCaprio with the champagne glass snapping his finger saying, and just like that, no one's ever going to say, oh, you're just a hairdresser. See, all those things are gone. Now, as a result of that, being a professional stylist, this is the time you can completely change your business. So your business plan should be, I don't think you have to ask customers to buy products anymore. I think we should be able to tell customers what they need to buy and just tell them this is the product that you need. This product is perfect for you. Listen, Avapoi would be ideal for you. Take it home and make it work. Okay. I also think if ever you've had difficulty getting the customer to pre-book or to send you referrals, this is the greatest time ever. I'll make you a deal. I know a few of you have them because I can see we're familiar with each other. Any of you out there that do not have my CDs, I want to make you a deal right now. First of all, I want to give you a code with love 50. If you'll put down the code with love 50, you can buy or download any of my CDs on genostampora.com with 50% off. Okay. Now, in the meantime, if you don't have my Salon Success CDs and you don't have my Geno Live CDs, you are costing yourself money because you don't have exactly the best dialogue in the world. I would suggest you get or download those CDs and start listening to them every day and begin to change your dialogue with your customer. So, what should you talk about? My CDs will teach you how to navigate and how to keep directing the conversation back to you and back to beauty and back to what's important. Not to mention, they'll inspire you. I am inspirational. Now, do you know why I'm inspirational? It's not hard. There's two reasons why I'm inspirational. Reason number one, because I honor the greatness within you. That's first. I look at every person, I look at every one of you, and I know there's greatness within you. I know some of you are great, talented hair cutters, and I know some of you aren't. I know some of you are incredibly talented colorists, and I know that some of you aren't. I was never a talented hairdresser. I don't know how to cut hair, really. They just don't know. And I really don't know how to color hair at all. I mean, I used to keep a little plastic Jesus in the kitchen and go back there and pray when I put the color on because I'd be scared to death of what it was going to look like when I was done. But the reality was, I had the largest clientele in Washington, D.C. No one can compete with the way you make a customer feel. No one can compete with feelings. So the number one reason I'm inspirational is because I treat you as though there's greatness within you, which I know there is. And I'd like to do everything I can to help you get that greatness out and live your best life possible. Reason number two is I know firsthand what it's like to have self doubt, no formal education, no money, to be poor, to grow up and think you'd never have anything, and then to fall into this amazing industry and make it work in a way that I never imagined possible. Never imagined possible. So, for instance, some of what the beauty industry taught me was to be a step ahead of the game. So, when all this started to come down about this corona, what the hell's going to happen thing, the first thing I did was went to my banker and sold all my stocks and got out of the stock market. The next thing I did was I came home and I thought about when there's a hurricane, what are the shortages? Oh my gosh, we better get some food. Oh, better get some toilet paper because that's the stuff you run out of right away. Hey, you know what? It's not a bad idea to order a few hundred gloves and masks just in case we need them. And then all of a sudden it came. So I want all of you to begin to become before the fact thinkers, not during the fact thinkers, not after the fact thinker. Become a before the fact thinker and look at the writing on the wall. What's coming down the road? Are you with me? So, in changing your dialogue and perhaps increasing your prices, because you're going to need to make more money. We're going to need more money. Food is going up, gas is going down. But you're going to need to make more money and you're going to need to work harder because you're not going to be able to double book for a long time. You're not going to be able to get people in and out for a long time. And for safety's sake, you've got to give yourself the time to disinfect between guests and make sure that things are right. First for yourself, second for your family, third for your customer, fourth for their family. We don't want this thing to go any further. We don't want it to get out of hand. We don't want anybody. So, what would I change in my dialogue? I would look at changing your opening when you greet a client, when you see them. One of my friends this morning, my friend Chris, said he's taken his mask off to show his customers his smile and then putting his mask on to come over and greet them because you're not going to be able to touch them. But in the greeting, I would find a way, especially from the start, to thank them for their loyalty, to thank them for waiting, to tell them how excited you are to be back to work and how much you missed it. And then to begin to talk about what you did while you were home all that time. How many books you read, how many CDs you listened to. You became a communication expert. You learned how to use your laptop. Everybody learned about Zoom. You read more and studied more and caught up on some movies, spent some time with your family. There's so much to share with them to show them that we have increased our value in the marketplace. And that's the most important thing you can show people, that you've increased your value to the marketplace, that you've increased your value to the people around you by study, by reading, by listening, by learning, by trying, by experimenting, by trying something new. Are you with me? Okay. Next, during the shampoo, be very careful and please just talk about product and beauty and how excited you are and how nice it is to go back to work. There's a few things you want to be careful of. Don't say, isn't it great to be normal again? Because normal is gone. We'll never be normal again. Never. It'll never be the same again. Never. When people keep talking about when this is over, this will never be over. It will change, but it will never be over. Can we handle it? Yes, but it'll never be over. What's the greatest thing that could happen for all of us? A vaccine that works, a true vaccine that works. And it's probably going to take a while. So be careful that you don't say, well, boy, it's great to be back to normal, or when things get back to normal. Just avoid all those things because I think you've probably noticed when things like this occur, experts come out of the woodwork. Everybody thinks they know the answer, from shooting up antibiotics or shooting up Lysol spray or being careful that for 20 minutes you hold your breath and if you don't cough, you don't have it. I mean, all this crap comes out. Everybody thinks that they're an expert. The best thing you can do is read, study, and learn from real resources like Dr. Fauci, like the CDC, like the National Institute of Health. Okay. Now, during your service, when it's time to cut the client, make sure that everything is shiny. Make sure your salon looks clean. Don't give them a reason not to believe in you, but also instill upon them the value that you've increased yourself with by what you've studied while you were gone. I mean, I know my dear friend Philip Wilson is doing haircuts, uh, Zooms every couple of days, teaching people how to cut hair a little faster, how to get things done in a better way, how to be more creative and artistic, and how to do things beautifully. All of us can do some of that. So during the service, make sure you increase your value to your guests so they see that you were productive while you were home, that you thought about them, that you got more prepared for
Hey, Gino, I think here's a question that's kind of relevant, and you're kind of on that topic. It's
them.
from Sarah Kitchen, and it's saying, how do you nicely, without hurting feelings of a client who thinks they are very close and thinks it's okay because they think they don't have COVID-19, to give you a hug at the end of this of your service?
I love it because here's what you'll find, Sarah. It's not just clients, it's even friends. And I've learned how to do this really fast. I've learned how to, when friends start coming, whoa, back up. I'm not as young as you. If I get this disease, I'm probably going to die. Please stand back. Here's the thing that all of us need to know. They still don't know for sure, but they think there's people that can get it, not show it, no temperature, yet can pass it on to others. That they have immunity or antibodies or some damn thing. I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but
I mean, maybe
I,
a nice way of saying is I'd love to hug you, but not at this time or something, you know?
well, or even to say, I'd love to hug you, but out of the respect of my family and fellow workers and customers,
Yeah.
I really can't. Now, if it's easier, and this is something that I think would be great to do, make it company policy. And if they start coming at you to hug you, just put your hands up and say, hold on, hold on. It's our company policy right now to have no unnecessary touching with a guest. As soon as that's over, I'll give you the biggest hug we have. I can't wait. But until then, see, people think because they feel okay that they don't have it. Well, that's why it's spreading because a lot of people feel okay for the first 3 or 4 days and don't even know that they have it. So if you have to, then why not make it company policy and just say, whoa, whoa, it's our company policy right now. We just can't do it. You know, it's against the company law. You follow?
Yeah, sounds great. Thanks, Gina.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. Absolutely. Now, where was I, Olivia? What was I talking about?
You were talking about, in the salons about the scheduling and
Oh,
talk.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So, in when it comes time to finish the client, now a lot of salons are choosing not to blow dry. Uh, some are choosing not to blow dry because they don't want to. Some are choosing not to blow dry because they think blow drying might cause the germs to spread, and some aren't allowed to blow dry. No matter what the case is, when you do decide, make that company policy. What is the best thing you can do? I can't tell you what your county laws are going to be like, but perhaps if you didn't blow dry the client, you could make up the time and the cost for the masks and or gloves for the guest, and you'd be okay with that. So you wouldn't have to charge them more or have a price increase. And I see your message, Natalie, and I love blowing dry too because I'm such a bad hair cutter. If I didn't blow it dry, I couldn't find all the crap that I had to correct after it was blown dry. However, if that's the law, we can live with it for a little while. I want you to think about navigating how to live with everything as we move along, and please understand and remember, nothing's going to last forever. Everything's going to change rapidly, as a matter of fact. And if and when we create a workable vaccine, things will change so fast, it'll be like day and night from today to tomorrow. So we kind of have to just go day by day with a lot of unanswered questions. But something you could do is like what we're doing right now, taking the time to let's study, let's pretend, and find out like what could come. What would people say? I know that there are places in the country where they're going to say blow drying right now is illegal, and if that's the case, you're not going to be able to do it. You follow? Okay. So um, during your finish, make sure you talk about the importance that customers scatter at this time and Some of them may not come back, and some of them may be looking for value, and some of them may want to find someone who's cheaper in price. So you're going to have to ask your clients that care about you, please remember to send me in referrals. Yes, I know I'm busy, but our salon really needs an influx of new people right now. Now here's some of the good parts. A lot of salons are going to go out of business as a result of this. Any salon that has starved their company to support their lifestyle is going to have difficulty, because you're going to need to have deep pockets to get through this. You're going to need to have some money to work your way through. So I think a lot of salons are going to close. When they close, there's going to be not only an influx of people looking to work with you, there's going to be an influx of beauty professionals looking to work with a great, trusted, honorable salon. And that could be you. So as there's an opportunity for some people that aren't going to make it, there's an opportunity for some people to really expand and really grow and really hone in. Do you see that now is the time you can leave all of your bad habits at home and go to work basically a new you? And the customer will not only accept you, they'll accept everything new about you and forget that they knew you before this. Does that make sense? See, in explaining that, kind of what I'm talking about is when my first few years of doing hair, I was amazed by how much money I made. And all of a sudden, I was making $500 or $600 a day. Now, that's a long time ago, before a lot of you were born. And I just settled for that. I could have settled for that for the rest of my life. I thought that I was doing so well and making so much money and having so much fun. And I actually had a consultant, a sales consultant, come in and say to me, uh, you could do so much more. And I never thought about it. I had really gotten comfortable in my income, comfortable in my life, comfortable with my attitude, comfortable with my dialogue. But then I started studying. I started going to seminars. I started working with some of the greats like Sam Bricado and some of the incredible Robert Cromians and people that would teach. And I went back to work and I became different. And I can tell you the first thing I noticed was every Christmas, my customers, oh my gosh, they would get me like some pot, hide it, stick it in my drawer. I'd have bottles of booze all over for Christmas, all over my station. And then it changed, and all over my station were books and tapes. They were these little things that looked like scotch tape inside, and we'd stick them in this little machine and noise would come out. It was really cool. And CDs and DVDs. And I began to see that. Isn't it funny, when you begin to look at you differently, everybody begins to look at you differently. So sometimes when you're not happy with the way others are looking at you, get away from all that and just you look at you and ask yourself, how can I see me differently? The greatest way to get others to raise their standards about you are for you to raise your standards in your own mind, and they will follow. Now, I don't know about all of you, but I have five sisters, and my five sisters used to say to me all the time that they didn't like the way their boyfriend or husband was treating them. And I would always say to them, we teach people how to treat us by how we treat ourselves. And if you want to be treated differently, then you have to start by treating you differently. If you do purchase my CDs or download them, or you bought some books pertaining to beauty, bring them into the salon, put them on your station, and show people what you've done to advance yourself to a new level, so that they understand that we are constantly increasing our value to the customer, which makes a price increase okay every now and then. Make sense? Okay, so during the close, your last effort with your guest. Now, here's what I think. If I were you, I would sit down and write out a dialogue page, the opening with the guest. How and what should I talk about? What's going to look different? Visualize it in your mind. How is this going to take place? The shampoo. What's going to be different? What's going to look different? What will I talk about? That's number two. Number three, the service. They're at your station. What's going to be different? What are you going to share? What are you going to talk about? Number four, the finish. It's time to blow them dry or just comb them out or hand them the mirror or thank them for everything. Number five, the close. During the close, you want to reiterate, please buy products while you're here. Eliminate the unnecessary stop at this another store. Don't go someplace where the place is filled. Now, one thing that usually works well in most salons is we have a better than normal or bigger than normal air filtration system. If you happen to have that in your company, it's something you should talk about. You should include it in your dialogue. By the way, our air is changed all the time in the salon because it'll make some people feel more comfortable. Please understand something. Some people are going to be fearful and never share their fear with you. So let's go beyond that and consider the fact that they may come fearful and do everything we can to eliminate that fear, which means all candy bowls, all magazines, all unnecessary touching, all coffee, tea, water has to be shut out for a while, just for a while, just so that we can give things right to the customer, do things right as we move along. And don't get me wrong, I'm not telling you the way you should do it. I'm just telling you the way that it's being done, and I'm telling you what I would do. But this is the beauty industry, and all of us have a right to do things the way we want to do things. What I wouldn't do is I wouldn't do anything that would give the customer an opportunity not to trust my environment. Make sense? Okay. It's the same thing as I do with my friends and my family. When I tell them I haven't been out, I haven't been out. I haven't left. I haven't. I haven't submitted myself to anything. So, everything's safe and good. Okay. So that takes care of that. How we doing? Any questions?
One, it says, it's from Jennifer. I'm sorry, Jennifer Malowski. It's very frustrating to have this license and are prepared for this PPE and procedures in place. Our government doesn't recognize us. How do we get them to trust us?
Well,
Um,
yeah,
and then we
that's,
have another one about how do you suggest keeping your glasses from fogging up? I'd love to know that one.
oh
And
my goodness. I'll tell you what, you see my glasses, right? This is a good one. Let's do the glasses first, and then Carolyn, give me back the other question as soon as we're
Very
through with
well.
the glass. Okay, there's a couple of really good things you can do with your glasses. Number one, make sure you have a breathable mask that stays fairly tight in this area so that the air that you expel doesn't go up, but it comes down. And do you know what I just started doing? You're going to love this. I'm using Rain-X fog proof, and it's been wonderful because I'll tell you what, I don't know about you, but because this is my industry and because I know a lot of you and I love you, then let me be totally honest. I'm scared to death again, this thing. I do not want it. And a couple weeks ago, I decided I wanted to put in a big garden. I used to be a very avid gardener, and now that I'm home, I might as well get back into gardening again because I'm not going to be traveling for the not certainly not for the next 4 or 5 months. So I went to the garden store with my mask and my gloves and everything. And when I got there, some people didn't have their mask on, and that made my heart palpitate. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I freaked out. I got my stuff, got in the car. On the way home, I decided, you have to remember to take your gloves off because you don't want to contaminate your car. So I started taking my glove off. When I took my glove off, the powder that was inside my glove, I breathed it in my nose and I sneezed. And when I sneezed, I got powder all over the interior of my car, nearly crying by the time I got home. I was freaked out. Now,
Oh no.
oh gosh, but here's the reality. I couldn't see because my 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 mask kept fogging my glasses. I almost hit a car, and it
Oh,
was it was the police. It was a policeman. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But and I was like crying, nervous. My glasses are fogged up, and I just want to go home, and I only live around the corner. And dear Lord, I got home, I walked in the house and thought, I'm never going out again until all this is over. So, great tips. Make sure you have a mask when you buy your mask. Try to buy a mask that has metal. that you can protect over your, you can push it down so it goes purely over your nose. By the way, also make sure that your mask isn't loose here on the sides, because if it is, there's no sense in having a mask on. A mask should fit you fairly tight, but you want a mask then that allows the air that you breathe out to go down and not up.
Mhm.
And try the frost and fog protection from Rain-X. It really worked great for me, and I think you'll love it. So there's a couple of tips, but
Mhm.
yes.
The
And
oth- the other question was, it's very frustrating to have this license and are prepared for this with PPE and procedures in place, and our governor doesn't recognize this. How do we get them to trust us? I'm not sure where, Jennifer, you're from, but it sounds like you guys are prepared for it, but just wanting to know how you can talk to your local official.
yeah, it doesn't matter where you're from. It basically is the same for all of us, and it's really this. A lot of people don't quite understand our industry, and I don't expect them to. But I like them to know that we've had months of sanitation and disinfecting training just in beauty school alone, and the importance of that, and all of a sudden now how important licensing is. However, and I mean this clearly, the greatest thing you could do is get involved with your local county, state, federal government, and pba.org, the Professional Beauty Association. You can contact anyone there, and you can just actually email them. Um, they fight for our rights as an industry, and really help us get noticed. They have a couple days in May where they lobby the Senate and Congress to explain who we are and what we do and how and why we do what we do. And these are the things that come up in an issue like this. I don't know that will ever be fully appreciated or understood, but I can tell you, uh, we began so far ahead of other industries because we've been avoiding the flu for years. We learned how to sanitize in the winter after every client so we don't get colds. We learn how to breathe from the side so we don't breathe what the client expels. I mean, we already know all that stuff. So I would suggest to you the Professional Beauty Association. And if you feel strongly about it, get involved. We need more people like you, Jennifer, to get out there and plead our case. So, anything else, or should I go on? Any other questions, ladies?
One of them was, Gino, what are your thoughts on having a waiver for the salon guests to sign, uh, negating the salon from any responsibility should they contract COVID-19?
Well, I think it's probably not a bad idea. I think a lot of salons are doing it. I know some salons that are doing it. I spoke with the small collection of salons called 124 in Atlanta. Now they've been open for 2 weeks and they're doing very well. They have a waiver that everyone signs and everyone gets their temperature checked before they come in. And all of the staff gets their temperature checked before they start. So I like the idea of waivers. Do I think it's necessary? I don't know what it's like in your area. I would consider that in my area here on the East Coast, in and around Washington, D.C., out where I live, I would say it's not as necessary. But where I worked for all those years in Fairfax County in Washington, D.C., I think it would be necessary. And I think if it gives you peace of mind in this time of insanity, then it's not a bad idea. Now, something you could do, I don't have a waiver or copy of a waiver to share with you, but, and I hope I'm not speaking beyond, I'm quite sure the Professional Beauty Association would have access to one. So you could contact perhaps my friend Leslie Perry, the Director of Education, and she could put you in at least someplace where you can. I would like to see a couple waivers before I created one, just to see what is my industry doing.
Mhm,
But yeah.
mhm. And then the last question is, any suggestions for scheduling? And I think you answered that earlier, but just in case.
Well, I think it's difficult because, of course, we want to make money, and I want to. Oh, I see a note there. Robert Crumian's put his waiver online on his Facebook page now, and just so you know, not in a bad way, but Robert, anything good that usually Robert talks about or whenever he's funny, it's actually me. He'll tell you he gets all of his great information from me. So it's probably something I helped him create. But go on Robert Cromian's Facebook page and get. I hope he's on. and get his waiver. That's a good start. So. Getting back to scheduling, I think the most important part of scheduling is I know everybody's going to want to make money. It's going to be a while before we can be as productive as we were. Okay. As a result of that, it's probably a good time to either raise your price or be conscious of your price and make sure you're getting uh, your money's worth out of your guest, because the most important part of scheduling right now is to have the time before and after each guest to decontaminate. Maybe new gloves, maybe a new mask, maybe the same mask, maybe just a breather, maybe just a few moments alone, maybe just some sanitizer. But you're going to want to make sure, you see, what I think about is I don't want you to get in the car at the end of the night and be nervous about something you forgot to do. So you're going to have to plan the time between each guest to feel comfortable with your personal sanitary situation and that of each guest as they come along. So in scheduling, um, I can't tell you the amount of time, but I would allot a certain amount of minutes before and after each guest for that. So take that from there and figure it out. See, I can do, when I was cutting hair, I could do a haircut in 15 minutes if I had to. I don't know if you can. So it's all going to vary based on how long it takes you to do your service as it is. But be sure and plan for a few minutes before and a few minutes after. Understand that if you can, you might have to work a couple of extra hours to bring in the daily money that you were bringing in before, or you just wait it out. And in months to come, as things change and we develop a vaccine or two, you'll be able to get back to that. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, here's a good one, Gino. How do you, as a salon owner, how does the salon owner has a stylist that's refusing to come back to the salon on the expected date? How should a salon owner handle that? What do you think?
Oh boy, I don't know.
Right? I know.
And I actually, I don't know if some of you are familiar with my dear friend Fallon Mirault, who I met at a Beacon program, brought on as my assistant, and Fallon travels with me throughout the country at hair shows, and she sells my CDs and stuff like that. And she called, and she's down in North Carolina. She told me that she wasn't sure if she wanted to go back to work, and I said, you know what? These are crazy different times. And the best thing I can say is follow your heart and let them follow their heart. If they really don't feel comfortable coming, it's important that they understand that we've just about maxed out in the client waiting. So the client won't wait any longer. If you're going to wait to go back, odds are you're probably going to lose some of your clientele. And I think that's a fact. However, uh, you have to follow your heart, and you have to feel comfortable. And I don't know how I feel because I haven't been in the salon for a long time, but I can tell you that I had an event early March to do for a few hundred people, and I had to call them in February and say I don't feel comfortable doing this. I'm going to have to cancel the event. And I canceled the event because I just didn't feel like it was my place. So, as a salon owner, one of the things you could do, speaking to all the owners that are out there, make your environment so safe that there's a level of trust there that it's okay to come back. Have extra masks and extra sanitizer, and make sure you're using Oxy when you're doing your towels and smocks and stuff, so that everything is truly sanitized and clean. Create an environment where they'll want to come back to, that they'll feel safer, but also have a sense of understanding in the fact that
Mhm.
some people are just scared to death, right? Like me.
Yeah, and that makes sense. Make it. I like what you said. Make it so that they want to come back. That the level of of cleanliness is so great. One other question here, it says, how do we gently let guests know it's going to be a little bit more expensive or going to be expensive moving forward? I guess a nice way to say it without offending them.
Well, I don't know that there is a nice way to say it, Carolyn. I think one thing to be careful of is you don't have to declare it. Uh, to some people, uh, um, a guest might have to understand that we're using more product. If they're getting waxed, it's been longer. If they're getting color, it's been longer regrowth. So we're using more product than we did. But also, I think that you should be allowed to raise the price to some degree just to cover
Mm-hmm.
the station changing and the sanitizers and the masks and the gloves. And I don't know that there's a nice way to say it. I think maybe a letter. And I do have a price increase letter that I'd love all of you to have. It's on my Achieving Salon Success CDs. It doesn't exactly cover uh, today, the COVID-19, but it does cover explaining to a guest why we're we're raising our prices and what's the importance behind it. And I think that it could be helpful in learning how to put something together for them to understand that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. Thanks. I don't have any other open questions.
Fantastic. Well, let's then, while you're pondering on a couple of questions, let's just shift gears for a minute and talk about you going back to work as a master of your career. What would it take to truly master your career? Now, some of you know that I talk all the time about the greatest enemy of learning is knowing. And I think there's a lot of people that have become so set in their ways, in their practice of doing hair, skin, nails, that they don't even see the changes. I have to share with you, if you're not being incredibly productive, making money beyond your wildest dreams, there are probably simple things you can do to change that aspect. Now, I'm not saying to sell anything to a customer that they don't need. And I'm certainly not saying to provide a service on any customer that they don't need. But with the right dialogue, with the right understanding, with the right technique, it's not hard to get people to see that sometimes they need more than they think they need. One of the hardest things that I teach is the importance of being persuasive, to be able to persuade a friend or a customer on the importance of spending money in the beauty industry, the importance of spending money on yourself. And I tell a story sometimes about one of my old neighbors across the street. And she was doing a manicure and she had just had a brand new white leather couch delivered for her living room. And I just happened to say to her, "Oh my goodness, you weren't giving yourself a manicure on your white leather couch, were you?" She was like, "Well, yeah." I said, "Think of what would happen if you spill your nail polish on that beautiful white leather couch to just do your own nails, which, by the way, you can have done in a salon for what, $25? There's probably $25 worth of change under your car seat. I mean, and I try to get people to understand that beauty is a great place to spend money. So if you understand that the greatest enemy of learning is knowing, then look at this as being not only a time to grow, but let's reset. Let's look at new values in beauty. Let's look at a new lifestyle in beauty. Let's look at a new perspective in beauty. And let's learn how to sell in a way like we never have before. Let's learn how to respect the offerings from the beauty industry, from our menu, in a way that we've never done before. Let's go back to work, a brand new, better educated workforce than left work a couple months ago. Let's go back with the fact that we can now take over our clientele. First of all, I would eliminate squeeze ins. There's no need for them. You certainly can't have them right now, but why ever bring them back? When you squeeze in a guest, they don't care. They just want to get done. But you think they're going to love you? They're going to see that as value only until you can't squeeze them in one time, and then they're going to see it as disaster and start to go someplace else. So let's eliminate squeeze-ins. Let's eliminate a dialogue that doesn't benefit us. So let's get everybody to practice talking beauty and talking about all things good and talking about what matters and talking about our products and talking about, and by the way, if I were you, salon owners, I would have, and staff, I would have pre-packed in bags shampoo, conditioner, and hairspray. At a certain price, the client can just pick up its shampoo, its conditioner, and its hairspray. Shampoo, conditioner, and gel. And it's just easy for them. Don't have to touch bottles, just grab the bag and jump out. We have to look at everything we do and make it as easy and as convenient for the customer, especially customers like me. Now, I have a business right up the road here, my Kubota dealer. And those of you that know me know I love to mow my lawn. Well, I don't know if you're aware of this, but gasoline, especially gasoline that contains the corn ethanol, uh, it goes bad. So it's not good to use an ethanol gasoline combination like in a weed eater or a little lawnmower, because if you don't use it up fast enough, it goes bad and clogs the carburetor. So I like to use the True Gas, and True Gas is like, well, it's $20 for a gallon. However, I was afraid to go there and get it because I didn't want to go inside, because I knew that it was a bunch of macho guys, wouldn't have their masks on, and I'd be freaked out. So I called and I said, listen, I need 4 gallons, blah, 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 blah. What can you do for me? And the guy said, absolutely. I'll tell you what. He said, give me your credit card. We'll bill you for the 4 right now. I'll put them in an untouched box. I'll put the box on the side of the building. I'll call you when I put it there. You come pick it up. If you want, you can come. I'll wait. You can lift up your tailgate from inside your car. I'll put the box in your car. You can close your tailgate and drive away, which is exactly what I chose to do. And I got home and it was done. Now, I don't know about you, but the first thing I did was thought about the beauty industry and said, wait, what just happened here? How would that apply to me inside the salon? And that's what I came up with. I would have product accessible for them to just grab and buy. Remember, nobody's going to want to use cash. Everyone's convinced now that cash carries the coronavirus. So it's going to be a little bit difficult. They're all going to want to use their credit card. You follow? So yeah, we're going to have guest services at the ultimate, be the best. So okay, with that said, I'd like you to think about creating an evaluation right now. What do you feel you do great in the beauty industry? What do you feel you do great behind the chair? What do you do good? And what do you do not so good? Because here's typically what matters. People that do something great tend to work on doing it greater. And they ignore what they don't do well. And if you'd like to achieve a certain level of balance, you have to work on your weaknesses. And you have to understand that many of your strengths will grow themselves. You see, most of us sell ourselves short. Do you have any idea how smart you are and how capable you are and how productive you could be and how much you could do and how much you could get done? Now, I don't know about you, but I've been a salon owner and a boss for over 30 years. At one point in my career, I had over 200 employees from 3 salons and a school. And I would meet with my employees every month. And the first thing I would say to them is, first, I'm never going to ask more of you than I asked of you the day that you started. And secondly, I want you to always think about the day that you started and be that person every day. Because I watch people over the course of 2 or 3 months just get more and more comfortable and not dress as well, not talk as well, not look as well, not sound as well, not act as well as they did that first couple of weeks, which led me to my commitment as an educator to my industry, which I believe is the only reason I was granted the North American Hairstyling Awards Hall of Leaders. It was simply this. I believe as sure as I'm sitting here with you today, when it's time to give, you give 100%. And when you give 100%, you give it 100% of the time. Right now, the most important thing in my world is every one of you that's listening. And if I can just answer one or two of your questions and give you one or two or three great ideas that you can go home with, we've been successful. So I think that one of the most important steps in learning is you must develop the habit of giving 100%, 100% of the time. Nothing is easy. These are tougher times than normal. I mean, I just had to explain to my grandson, I'm afraid to see you. I just can't see you right now. And we're going to figure out a way. I'm going to figure out something. But just bear with me, because here's what you need to know. If you get this thing, you might be all right. If Poppy gets it, I'm going to die. That's kind of where we're at. And that was difficult to explain, but it had to be explained that's why things are like they are. Makes sense? So, questions?
One question is, how do we engage our team to help get the salon ready ahead of opening? And then another person wanted to know, when you say a price increase, like, could you suggest how much?
Well, I can't suggest how much because uh, it varies with what you charge now and who you are and where you are, and there's so much of a variance with that. Do they sit on leather? Do they sit on wood chairs? I think a price increase that would cover the additional charges you're going to have in, say, regard to sanitation, uh, having to buy more supplies, um, masks, gloves, excuse me, that type of thing. However, you're not going to probably have coffee. You're not going to, so certain things could make up for it to some degree. I can tell you that yearly, my price increase was 7 to 10% every year, every October 1st,
Mm-hmm.
to cover, if nothing else, the cost of inflation, the cost of the dollar. And those that ask that question, email me and get my price increase letter. You'll understand why. Now, in regard to getting the staff on board,
Mm-hmm.
we all know how to Zoom now, right? Do you all know how to Zoom? Why not have a Zoom? Start having a Zoom with the staff right now. Let's Zoom together and let's collect ideas. Now, remember, if you're on here and you're a salon owner, the greatest way to get your staff to love you, get your staff involved, get your staff to be a part of it, is let it be their idea. Get them involved. If it's their idea, they'll worship it at a higher rate, at a higher degree. So uh, you want your staff to get involved in the fact that hear what they have to say, hear what they have to offer, and have a Zoom with everyone and find out what's on everybody's minds. And then how can we eliminate the frustrations? How can we grow the business? And together, how can we overcome this? And it's important as a leader to remind everyone this
Mm-hmm.
is not forever.
We have an instructor on here that says, I'm an instructor and I have a couple of students who feel defeated as they are in limbo for their licensing at this time. But I tell them we are all in this. And do you have any other motivational tips or advice to maybe keep them motivated, the
Well,
students?
yeah, it's very hard, Carolyn. This is a very,
Mhm.
very hard time to find inspiration, to seek inspiration. And I feel bad for some of the people that are in school right now, because I think uh, graduation could be a bit lackluster, and not working on guests and wondering where the future is going to hold. But there's proof right now by customers that have begged their governments to open up hair salons because they need their hair done. One of my friends posted that if this goes on for another week or two, 90% of the blondes in the world will disappear. And I thought it was so well said and so well done. Um, I think that it's important to remember that this is temporary, that we are the beauty industry, that there's no one quite like us, that no one's ever going to be able to do this but us. There'll never be a robotic or any of that stuff. And uh, you're going to be fine. You're actually going to be better. This is actually going to benefit the beauty industry in a number of ways. Those that never really paid attention will probably not get back involved, and those that did probably will. It's really going to produce a much stronger wiser, greater
Mhm.
industry. I think what's hard as an instructor is it's so hard to instruct the challenges now. You
Mhm.
know, uh, however, I can tell you, I see someone said, I believe a vaccine might be here soon.
Mhm.
Let me tell you where we're at. Absolutely, because I think you should get more in touch with this, uh, but I am in touch with it. They are doing, especially in Germany right now, some human tests on vaccines. This coronavirus, there's many different types of it. You should become familiar with it so that you know what you're talking about. It mutates constantly. So the vaccines are having to change constantly. Um, so what you might want to think about is what looks like a vaccine coming quickly might have to change, or another vaccine, or there might be two or three, or there might be one and then one again in 3 months and one again in 3 months. I know we will find it, but
Mhm.
as of right now, there's promising things out there, but there's nothing to make people go nuts and say, "Wow, it'll be here any day now." I know that they're working on it 24/7, 365. I mean, there are uh, biochemical people working on this constantly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Another question is book recommendations. What are you reading right now, Gino?
Oh, I'll tell you what. An interesting question. I am rereading. So I have a couple of new books, but I haven't even gotten into them yet. I'm rereading Leadership. I'm rereading Harvey McKay. I'm rereading First Break All the Rules. But I'll tell you what I will do. I would, especially those of you that are true Monaco Blue customers, if you email me and tell me what you're looking for, I can probably give you the best two or three books that you need in all aspects of life. I read constantly. You can probably see directly behind me. Those are just two bookcases. There's three bookcases over here, and there's three bookcases over here. And I am speaking to you on top of a bookcase, all full of books, not to mention there's a couple of great podcast companies that I deal with all the time. So I'm constantly looking at learning and growing and changing. If you tell me what you're looking for, I'd be glad to tell you what would be the best thing to read right now. And there are some really good, really interesting things that have come out just recently that could help to understand where we are with the virus today, which, by the way, I don't know if some of you are aware of, but do you know that Bill Gates 5 years ago at a conference indicated this was going to happen
Mhm.
and that we weren't at all prepared? No one prepared for it.
Hey, you keep mentioning podcasts, Gino. What do you have a podcast, or what ones do you listen to?
Well,
That's interesting.
thank you so much, Carolyn. I don't have a podcast, though I'd like to.
Yeah, you
Uh,
should.
Yeah, but you know what? It's all in time. There's not enough time in a day. Try to
Right.
get everything done. However, I'm on Hair Dustry. I'm on their podcast, and they are great guys, great company. It's HAIR. Hair Dustry, HAIRDUSTRY, Hair Dustry. I'm on Shop Talk with Chris and John down in Atlanta, shoptalk.com. And I've been on a few times with Gordon Miller, Hairbrained, and I think that's a great podcast. I also, people ask all the time, please forgive me, I'm not getting religious or spiritual, but I have to share with you. A lot of my inspiration comes from Joel Osteen, and I have Joel Osteen podcasts that I listen to
Mhm.
all the time, and I really do enjoy them. Tony Robbins podcasts I listen to quite a bit. There's so much great, knowledgeable
Mhm.
information out there. There's also a company called Blinkist. It's Blinkist. Blinkist. Blinkist.com. It's, I think, $100. Now, if you're loaded, do it. If you don't have money, don't spend any unnecessary money right now. So if you don't have money, get an old book that you read and reread it. It's going to be like listening to an album that when you first brought it home, you loved the 3 songs that made you buy the album. And after 3 months, you hated the 3 songs you bought it for, but you loved the other 9. That's how books work too. So if you don't have any money, don't go spending money. Go and get an old book that you have, or get on a free podcast, or find out what's available out there. There's so much free education that you can do. Okay?
Mhm.
Yes. Did I answer your question?
I think you did. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
great.
I did.
Thank
Good.
you.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? Yeah, Blinkist.com. Are you familiar with it? It's phenomenal. I love it. They condense books so you can read a book in an hour. And it's really great sometimes if you're having a contest. Like, see, sometimes I have a contest with Nick Arojo, like who read the most books. And sometimes in a week, I can use Blinkist and I can cheat a little and say, well, I read 9 books and shut them right down, So just a thought, just a thought.
Sounds great. Thanks,
Yeah,
Geno.
you're welcome. My pleasure.
I saw a question from Cindy that I thought was interesting. It's shifting just a little bit, but she's asking if we use teams or shifts when we go back to the salon, what would you recommend in terms of setting managers or leaders for opposite shifts that the owner wouldn't be at if they don't have that set up now?
I love it. I would have teams and I would have shifts, and I think that it should be the same team. No, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm seeing on my, not Tony Robinson, just Tony Robbins. Robbins. Tony Robbins. I hope got your question there. Yeah, Tony Robbins. Robbins. You're welcome, Kimmy. I think that the way to do it would be to have the same shift of the same people all working together at the same time. That's first, because that's going to give you, after a couple of weeks, a real sense of not only camaraderie, but team spirit and a level of trust. Like, we've been working together with this group is healthy, everybody's fine. So I would keep those shifts together. Now, the owner can't be there the whole time. So I would have a Zoom conference and ask who would like to be the lead person at the time the owner's not there. I'm sure you could now remember, just real quick to reiterate, let me preface this with, in building great team spirit, which I think is lackluster to say the least in our industry, there's a few things that all of us need to understand. Okay, um, first of all, there are fundamentals in developing and making and keeping a great team. Now, I pride myself on the teams that I've had over the years, that every time I see former employees from years ago, they will talk about how great it was for all of us to be together, and how much fun we had, and how much money we made, and how exciting it was. And I love that, because that's what I was all about: fun, exciting, make money. That's what we're there for. I recently, and by the way, I don't want to get crazy, but I just got an email from an old client who I haven't seen or talked to in years. She and her husband just moved not far from me and bought a farm. And she was emailing to say how much she and her husband and their 2 children enjoyed coming to the salon and working with me. And then she went on to say that her son, who I cut his hair probably from 6 years old to 21, 22, he's now a prominent attorney in Washington, D.C. And then about her daughter and how great her daughter's doing as a vet, and how much they still talk about me and my influence and what I could. You see, there's so much to be said for true, strong team spirit. In developing true team spirit, get a pencil and write this down. Fundamental number 1: share knowledge with each other. Get on a Zoom right now and start talking about what we're going to do, what's going to differentiate us, what we're going to talk about, what's going to make us different. Eliminate the fear. Share knowledge with each other pertaining to your common goal. How, how, how could we get everybody to think on the same page? Thank you very much, Kimberly. That's very thoughtful. Fundamental number two, cover your team. You don't have to like everybody you work with. You don't have to love everybody you work with, but you do have to respect everybody you work with. So make sure you cover your team. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all, and make that a rule inside the salon. That should be a salon rule. Don't let, if you listen to somebody talking about somebody else, you're condoning them. Walk away. Just walk away. Fundamental number three, stimulate spirit. I mean, some people like myself are very spirited. You know, I try to explain to people, I lead an extraordinary life in the beauty industry. Is it easy? No. But can it be done? Of course it can. Every one of you can have an extraordinary life, but you have to be willing to change and be willing to read, and be willing to study, and be willing to see life in a different way. I mean, I wake up every day thankful and lucky that I made it another day. That's the kind of attitude that it takes. Are there shitty days? Of course. Does shit get in the way? Of course. But you know what you do? You try to get rid of it and move on from there. And the one thing I've never done with any last one of you that are listening is shared my crap with you, because I believe you've all got your own crap. And why should I share my crap? So you see, my break room was joyful because no one would ever go back there and share a problem with a person who couldn't solve it. That's how we stimulate each other's spirit. And some of us need a jolt every now and then. You know, fundamental number four, don't badmouth your coaches. It takes coaches. I've got coaches in every aspect of everything I do in my life. It's important because some people will never be able to bring out the best in themselves. They need others. And if you look at some of the greats, I mean, right now, everybody's dying for sports. The Michael Jordan event that's on, and Michael Jordan, do you know that Michael Jordan, when he was on the basketball court, every other basketball player's numbers were better because they played up to him? Could you imagine if when you were on the floor in the salon, everybody else's retail dollars were higher because you had that kind of influence? You see the power of who we are and the power of what we can do. Fundamental number five, develop mutual respect for everyone. Give people the space to be who they are. Don't be so quick to judge both customers and fellow workers. One of the things I've tried to explain to some of my friends is, look, some people will and some people won't. Just let them go. It's okay. Just do what your heart tells you to do and know that you're clear with that. So if we understand and live by the five fundamentals of creating a great and strong team spirit, then develop a Zoom and talk to everybody. What would you like to do? What's making you feel uncomfortable? What makes you feel comfortable? We are all going to have to practice being better communicators as a result of this. Okay, here's first. You're going to wear a mask now. You're going to wear a mask a lot. People aren't going to be able to see your facial expressions. Now, for me, that's a killer because I have a great smile and I smile a lot. I'm practicing now with a mask on, smiling with my eyes so people can see me smile. Because sometimes when you smile, people smile back. So I'm practicing verbal. I'm practicing my my nonverbal communication skills, my hands and how I move and how I shrug my shoulders and the way I'll do and say certain things. We all have to become communication specialists. And you're going to lose the aspect of being able to get close to your customer and maybe whisper something in their ear or whisper something in somebody else's ear. Maybe not just for you, maybe for them. The closer you get to certain people, the more scared they're going to become. So you're going to have to learn how to communicate that from a distance, keeping that safe distance. Now, we all know safe distancing. Even before this social distancing thing, we know what happens when we get too close to a guest. and you can instantly see the guest feel uncomfortable. And I don't know about you, but as an Italian, I tend to get too close a lot. So I would have to give my guest permission right from the start. Please, if ever I get too close, tell me, because I'll tend to say, oh, look, you got a little boogie there on your nose. Let me get that for you. So you have to direct me in how to be and how to act and to keep my distance. So you see, many of us are so far ahead of the game. We practiced social distancing before we even knew that it was social distancing. So see, we're much ahead of the game with that said by now. Okay. So that's what I would do. Have that Zoom and talk to everybody, to your staff about here's going to be some of the changes. Here's what we're going to have to adhere to. Here's what's going to be company policy. Let's get this down on paper and start living with it. Questions?
Nothing in the question Q&A. There was one here. It says how to level up pay someone to be the leader check-in front desk. Not
Okay, I'm not sure that I understand exactly, but what you're saying is that you want to pay them for having more responsibility in the salon, and I believe that that should happen. I think everyone should get paid for what they do. There's a process. There's a lot of different ways you could do it. You could give them a small hourly increase. You could look at perhaps giving them a bonus based on what happens inside the salon while they're there based on the numbers. You could give them a bonus or maybe increase their retail sales. I would increase everyone's retail sales percentages from the start because I think it'll get everybody a little more excited and maybe change the rule of having 1 in 10 buy and get more like 9 out of 10 to buy. So a couple of things you could do in regard to level up. You could go on one of my partners, Nikki Lee. You could go on Nikki's website. It's called the Statements Project. And you could email her through the website and ask her because she's great with numbers. And those of you that are familiar with Stephen Gomez, Stephen Gomez is a dear friend who's very, very familiar with numbers and can give you maybe different ways to get that done. And if you'll email me, I'll email you their information too.
Yeah, one of the other things was suggestions on how to schedule apprentices who are working one-on-one with stylists. Should they only work the desk?
I don't know that I understand the question. No, they could still work one-on-one with stylists. Why wouldn't that be possible?
That's from Cindy. I maybe she's wondering if they need to maybe just have that social distancing, spacing. Yeah, social distancing. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd have to say that for the first time in a long time, I'm stumped.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I haven't checked. I'd have to find out. Now, yes, it is only temporary and it will go away, but in the meantime, I'm not sure. Yes, we might have to position them to find something else to do within the salon. A perfect example would be, it looks as though many grocery stores are moving toward not allowing people in at all. So one of the things that they're doing is all of their shelf stockers that they had, all of their cashiers are now becoming delivery people so that everybody's still working. You follow? So I think sometimes it might take a level of creativity to look at where we would put them. But yeah, the desk, there's going to be more cleaning going on. There's going to be more sanitizing. It would be nice for customers to see somebody who's cleaning things constantly. So you might want to need a +1 in there, keeping everything sanitary. It would be a great gift for the guests to feel like, wow, we're doing it even better than the grocery store did, or for that, that matter. Make sense?
Yeah. Here, I like this one. It says from Courtney Forster. How would you handle a salon freak out if someone, either a guest or a staff, starts coughing?
Well, I'll tell you, it's crazy, isn't it? Because nowadays, I can tell you that when I was at the store where I was buying my plants and somebody got what I felt uncomfortably close to me, I actually pretended a cough. And the minute I went, they like were gone. They shot away. So I don't know, especially right now. I don't know how many of you have allergies. You know, I'm terrible with the pollen, so I do sneeze and cough a little bit. I just think it's important to have perhaps a lot of tissues around, sneeze into a tissue or cough into a tissue, and then maybe make mention of the fact that I had my temperature checked this morning and everything's okay. I just happen to have allergies. And I think for the next few months, allergies will be a great way to get out of it. I don't know what's going to happen after that because come fall, you know.
Yeah. Hey, Gino, I have a question for you. Like, how do you keep yourself motivated? I mean, sometimes during the day, or some days are just, we have good days and bad days, and this has really been a new change. It's a new normal for us. How do you suggest? I mean, people, we keep ourselves motivated. I know we're doing webinars and we're going on and doing those things, but what are some other things that maybe have helped you?
It's so hard. I mean, it really is so hard. I personally have never experienced anything quite like this in my life, and I'm sure that many of you feel the same way. And I'll tell you what, that's a beautiful question, and it would be a great place to close our wonderful time together. And I do want to thank you personally, all of you, for taking the time to be here with me today. And I want to thank Monica Blue and certainly you, Carol and Olivia, for making it possible. Now, here's what you want to be careful of. No one's motivated and inspired all the time. And it has been very difficult for me. I'm a hairdresser. I've been a hairdresser for a million years. I'm Italian. I'm a toucher. I'm a hugger. I love people. I love to hug and touch and smile, and all that's been taken away from me. I know it's temporary, but it's all been taken away, and it means I have to react different, respond different. I have to look different. I have to wear a mask. I mean, it's just like it sometimes can be overwhelming. But here's the thing you have to do: learn who you're going to learn from. I watch Dr. Anthony Fauci. I watch the CDC. I watch the National Institute of Health. I watch nothing else. I don't want to see the Today Show. I don't want the news. I don't want the TV on. It 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 bothers me. It affects me in a very negative way. So be careful where you're getting your information from. Okay. Uh, Next, remember that happiness is a choice. You choose. When I was talking earlier about planning, I've got lists of projects planned, lists of books that I'm going to read. I'm taking an online class to learn how to be more technically savvy and how to operate this damn Zoom thing, which I couldn't even figure out before this. And look at me now, Michelle. I have headphones and I have a microphone, and holy shit, I mean, feel like I'm flying a plane. There's all this stuff available, and thank God we have Amazon. I just get on and I order it. The next day it's there.
You look great, Gina.
Oh, thank you so much, Marge. I just want to say, because I see you on there, that I love you so much. And it's so funny. I've known Marge, oh my God. Well, I probably was in her salon 35 years ago. She actually paid me to come and speak. And back then, I was so stupid. Anybody that paid me had to like me a lot because I don't even know what I talked about. But I'm so happy to see you, and I'm so glad that you're all healthy. And I want all of you to stay that way. Just be careful. So, uh, happiness is a choice, and if you start every day being grateful for who you are, what you have, where you're going, what you're doing, and realize this is temporary. It's unfortunate, but it could be worse. It, Corona could be so deadly, it could be like the Spanish flu was. If you want to look at something incredible, go back and read in history. Read what it was like in 1918 when they thought the whole thing was over, and then it came back and killed thousands more people. You want to do something really cool? If maybe you haven't done it, there's a great little book called The Diary of Anne Frank. Read that book. Read the book about a young girl who spent almost every day of a year inside, hiding in an attic. Never saw the sun, never saw the outside. You see, we're so resilient. we basically can do anything. What pisses you off is it's not the way you want to live your life, which I feel the same way. I mean, I miss eating out in restaurants. It's what I did my whole life so much, but I can see where it's going to be very difficult. Now, I can tell you, we have a great restaurant not too far from here. You know what they've done for social distancing? Every other table has mannequins that like look like they're eating, and I'm very comfortable with mannequins because I have. Where's my little head? I have heads everywhere of mannequins that I work on. I know there's a couple of them in my office
Mhm.
somewhere. I just don't know where they are. Next, count your blessings. Be thankful for your close friends. Be thankful for your health. And be careful not to judge others. Some people are just going to mess up. We all mess up. Some people just do things wrong. But don't let it affect you. Continue to do what you believe is right. And the hardest part is to get people to understand, have faith in your heart and follow the voice of your heart. And be careful that you don't let the voice of your head confuse you into thinking that that's the voice of your heart, because it's not. So, and I think if you do that, you'll
Mhm.
you'll you'll understand the importance of. I see somebody there saying, Kimberly saying, be kind. I love watching Ellen because I love the end of Ellen's show when all she says is simply, be kind to one another.
Mhm.
To take care of people, take care of the people around you. I think that's the answer. Although I do at times, Carolyn,
Mhm.
rely on uh, I have some great friends out there, like yourself, like Mike Maley,
No, thank
people from all aspects, clients, and uh, and I have great faith in my maker, and I think all of that stuff helps in knowing that there's still going to be days that I'm down. There's going to be days you're going to call here, and I'm not going to answer the phone. This is not easy to get through. It's been tough, and it is such a far cry from the life that I've lived. I
Mhm.
mean, I used to fly every day. I
Mhm.
used to stay in hotels every day. I used to talk to massive amounts of people every day. I used to make a lot of money. I used to do all that. Now, all of it's gone for who knows how long. You know.
I think that's part of it. We're so long, we were so busy, as hair professionals, we're on the go 24/7, so it was really difficult. We have a couple of questions. We have about 7 questions I'd love to share with you, Geno.
Oh, wonderful! Yes.
It says, thank you, Geno. This is from an anonymous attendee. Thank you, Geno. Teaching a cause class for my living room via Google Meets, and also teaching my daughter who thinks she's supposed to be on vacation. It was getting a bit heavy. You, sir, are a breath of fresh air that I needed today. I am thankful for these classes and are readily available that they are readily available to all of us. We are truly blessed in many ways. We just don't see it sometimes. Thank you.
My goodness, thank you. Wow, that was. I wish you could call me every day and say that. Thank you so much.
This is from Jose Pina. What is some good question for a team meeting? For like if you're hosting a salon meeting, what would be some good questions? What would be maybe a good topic?
Well, certainly right now the topic should be Corona and comfort, health challenges, what we could do as a team to create an environment of trust. And I think that that alone would set up a beautiful meeting, getting people to understand that this is not something a salon owner does. It's something everybody does. It's something that we do as an industry. Make the customer feel comfortable, confident, and that they have a safety net around them. I think that's the greatest way to start out. Certainly talking about the fact that things are going to be a little bit different, and everyone is going to sacrifice to some degree. We might have to work shifts. You might have to choose morning or night. Don't start bitching about everything. Just find a way to accept what is right now and move into what could be.
Mhm.
Right? Yep.
Sure. And this is from, a friend of, this is a friend of mine I know from Columbus, Carol Beck. Maybe the associate could social distance and we could have them grab products as needed and have them add them onto the client's ticket. Thanks, Carol. Appreciate that. I hope you and your family are well. Another one is from Carrie. It says, I work in a big salon. Any words of wisdoms for coworkers or clients that have no regard for laws or rules? I am already dreading things, knowing how unprofessional, messy, or dirty some of my coworkers are. Ooh.
Yeah. Oh boy. I would quit my job and no, I'm just kidding. Uh, I don't know. I deal with the same thing. Uh, I've always dealt with the same thing to some degree. You know, uh, those of you that know me well know that I am a giver. Uh, you can talk to anybody at Monaco Blue. You can go all the way back to Mailey's. And I can tell you this at the Mailey's shows in Grand Rapids at the Amway Grand Plaza, I was probably the first person there and the last person to leave, because if anybody had a question or needed to talk to me, I would be there to talk with them. Do you know what happens when you're that kind of person? You suffer a little bit because while everybody else is out having drinks and down at the bar, you're still up in the classroom talking to some person. So you pay a price for your lifestyle, regardless of what it is. The best thing I could tell you would be continue to do what you do and be who you are, because that's important. Wear the mask, do the important things, and avoid the people that don't as much as possible.
Mhm.
Just avoid them. Please understand, there's a percentage of America that thinks that this is a joke.
Yeah.
Hello? I mean, that's what we live in today.
Mhm.
There's a percentage of the world that doesn't believe that this is real.
Mhm.
So that's going to happen all the time. But I
Mhm.
hope I gave you, just avoid them and don't remember that if ever you react to them, you give away all of your power. If
Ah.
you if you respond to them, you simply say to yourself, it's unfortunate that they don't get it, but I do, and maybe I can show them as an example.
Yeah.
You
We
know,
have a question from Christina Nagy. Sorry, I have dogs barking in the background. We have an apprentice and we still want to keep and teach her. How do we show her techniques from 6 feet away and also keep the guests from getting nervous? Oh, yeah. So trying to show a technique on a guest while the apprentice is there. Good question.
yeah. Well, it is a good question. It's probably a good time to get some mannequin heads that you can work on. I think that would be the next 6 months to a year. I think that's what you're going to see with a lot of trainings, and certainly you're going to see a lot of it. I know that I've seen maybe 15 hair cutting and hair treatment videos, webcasts, Facebook Lives, where it's all been done with mannequins. So I think that's the way to do it. And if they have a question, just refer the question to, we're going to have an hour at the end of the night and we'll go over that and I'll explain it to you or show you the haircut.
This question is from Darlene Weimer. What is your advice about those of us that work in an independent contractor's atmosphere, where someone maybe has a different belief about COVID to both extremes? Maybe we have some, that, like you say, for both extremes of.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you it's going to happen. There's no doubt about it. And it's no different than working in any other salon, except that you may have the power because you can be alone in your room, where you can create that private environment where they feel safe and protected while they're there with you. And, all of us have to come to an understanding that some people aren't going to do it. They're just,
Mhm.
some will and some won't.
Mhm.
Some people just aren't going to do it. I don't know that there's any other answer. I think one thing to be careful of is don't react. Don't get sucked into
Mhm.
being something that you're not,
Mhm.
because of how they are. That's most important.
And this one is from Stephanie. Thank you for today's class, one of the best I've been on.
Stephanie, you're a great judge of character.
this
Thank
next
you. Thank you so much.
This next question is from Jocelyn Schiffer. Hi, I'm trying to be kind and get everyone in, but how do I get clients in and family in too? Paying versus family that don't pay as much. I want them to get their hair done too, but this is hard because I need to get my paying clients in first. Thanks. This is from Jocelyn in Cincinnati, Ohio.
I think the first thing you're going to want to do is have a Zoom or a webinar, and that's one of the things you're going to have to put in there. You're meeting with your staff. Is listen, the salon itself has not made $1 in a long time. What's real important right now is that all of us fill our pouches with gold because our pouches are probably empty. So let's put family and friends to the side right now for a while, and let's get this done. Let's get caught up. Let's get the paying people taken care of first. Let's not chance losing a paying customer to another chair because we were busy doing our sister or cousin or
Yeah.
best friend or something like that. I think all of that can be done verbally with dialogue in a Zoom before we even go back to work and just communicate effectively. I think sometimes what is hard to realize is if people don't understand exactly where we're coming from, they'll want to push. And what we want to explain to them is this is how it is. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think, I think we just have to realize that, yeah, this is tough times, but we shouldn't be afraid to approach these questions. And I think
Absolutely.
people understand, you know?
Absolutely. You're exactly right. I saw somebody saying still confused about the blow dryer. I just want to say quickly, it's going to be different from county to county, from state to state. There are some states that are questioning making blow drying illegal for a while because I don't know, they think it blows the germs to somebody else. Now, I don't know if it does or doesn't. I have no idea. However, I just know that that's what's going on. So don't be confused by it. Just figure out what is most comfortable for you. What is it that your county, your state is looking for, and then take it from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have someone on here saying that they charge their family the same price.
And I love that. That's the way it should be. Now,
Well,
you know what?
yeah, my
I,
sister does that. She gets me a gift card to where I go get my hair done. She says, well, why wouldn't I pay you? And I'm like, oh my God, this is fabulous. So
do you know something? I once did a program for my friend Sam Bricado at his salon in New York City when he first opened up his salon.
Mhm.
And I went and did this program, and I didn't bill him, charge him, or anything. I went home. And he called up. He said, where's the invoice? I said, oh, no, Sam, it's absolutely no charge. He said, no good friend would ever have you come here and
Right.
teach this class without getting paid.
Mhm.
I'm sending you a check. And I thought, you know, he's right. The people that are closest to me would never want it for free.
Mhm.
Now, there are things you can do to barter, of course. It doesn't always have to be money, and I'm not all about money, but you got to be careful sometimes.
Yeah.
You get paid for your time, and you don't want to give it away.
And so many of us have been, so many of you have been not behind the chair. And, I think people realize that. My sister-in-law said, I wish I was her hair professional. She said, I missed my appointment with my hair professional, but I sent her the money anyways, because I knew that she needed the money and I knew that my appointment meant something. I thought, wow, and that'd be great if all customers did that.
Oh, absolutely. We've been paying. We wouldn't let our cleaning lady back in, but we've paid our cleaning lady
Yeah.
for the last 8 weeks every week. You know, you got to take care of the people that take care of you, and
Yeah.
it's not in a proud way that I say it. I'm capable of being able to do
True.
it.
True.
You know,
True.
yeah.
Yeah, it is true. I mean, you have to take care of the people that that are out there. So yeah, when she said that to me, I'm like, oh, I said, wow. She goes, I said, your hair professional will love you for it.
Of course.
This has just been a great day. I mean, I know we have a few more minutes. Does anybody have anything else they want to reach out to Geno? Pop it in the chat, pop it in the Q&A.
And please go online at genostampora.com and take advantage of that great deal. I've never offered it before, and it will be offered until this Corona crap is over with.
Now, that was the offer to get the 50% off. That was
With Love 50. With Love 50.
Okay. So I do want to share my screen. I want Geno to see what we're doing over here and what everybody's going to get. So those of you who have been on and been...
No, the code is with Love 50.
Oh, with Love 50.
Yeah. And do you see this? Every one of you see now Stay Educated with Monaco Blue and Geno Stampora. You just completed a virtual class. If you will bring that certificate to any show that I'm at for the next 12 months, I will give you a set of CDs of your choice for free for being with me today.
Wow. That's awesome, Geno. You know what? It's been great. And Olivia, I can't see my screen. Are there any questions that need to be shot out of there? Sorry, I'm on a couple different.
Let me check. Kelly's asking where we can purchase the CDs. That's at your website, right? GenoStampora.com.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
Perfect.
you can purchase or download.
So the other thing that I do want to share with everyone also is, oh, not that. Hang on, let me stop sharing and get the proper one. And I'll put this up for those of you who are in Ohio and would love to get your continuing education credits. I kind of stalked my buddy over at State Board. I'm like, please, this is last minute. She's so great, Kathy Franklin. I got to give a shout out to her. So wrong one again, Carolyn. Hang on, guys. I'm getting there.
I love this. I just love when people do stuff like this because I do that kind of stuff all the time.
Well, I'm going to let Olivia chit chat while I find it.
Well, she pulls it up.
I'll tell you what we could do. Are we clear on questions?
Yeah, keep asking questions.
So, yeah, if
Good.
you have more, please feel free to ask them. But I don't think.
Well, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to depart from this series so that I can prepare for my 4:30 Zoom.
Sure.
Coming up.
Absolutely. Here's the screen that I'm sharing. Everybody knows how to get there. It's your bit.ly/MB sign in. And it is the very first class on the list. Yes.
I love it. I love it. How beautiful. How cool. Well, be sure and thank the State Board of Ohio for acknowledging the fact that I'm worth
2 credits.
the 2 credits, exactly, that I'm worth 2 credits. I love you, Michelle Beamer. Listen, you guys, thank you all so much for your time today. And thank you all for your kind words. And do remember, we're all in this together. We have a wonderful God. Wait a minute, who's spelling my name? Thank you. Wow, spelled my name, Kelly Thompson. There you go. You guys take care, stay safe, stay healthy, pay attention, follow the rules, do what's right. Just do what's right. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Geno.
My pleasure. I'll talk to you soon. Love to you too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
If you need, Olivia and I can stay on for a couple more minutes just so that you can see our screen. I know we've got some people still, I can see people are hopping on and off. We love everybody. We're going to be back tomorrow, Olivia and I, doing,
yes.
What do we have tomorrow? I think we have
Sunlight Balayage in the morning, and then we've got GK Smoothing in the afternoon.
Oh my gosh, how exciting. Another busy day. And then we're going to take the weekend off. I learned a recipe with, is it White Claw? Is that seltzer drink? White Claw watermelon. So you take the White Claw watermelon and you get ice and watermelon and you make a slushie.
Oh, that sounds fun.
That's what I'm going to be doing this weekend after tomorrow's webinar. So
I love it. I love it. And so I do just want to clarify. So if you are from Michigan, Indiana, any other state other than Ohio, you will automatically get the fun like virtual badges. To the screen right now is just for Ohio stylists. So yeah, Michigan stylists will get an email with the
you'll get it by midnight tonight.
Yes, give us about 24 hours. Carolyn's faster than that normally, but
I am. Yeah, Aaron, I'm telling you, it's a really good drink. It's any of those and you put the fruit in it. And 1 or 2 hit you pretty hard. So for me, maybe not some other people. So
oh my God,
tomorrow's class. Olivia,
well,
sign up?
I will put a link in the chat to a list of all of our upcoming classes, and they all have registration links, so you can get all signed up. Carol Beck is proud to be the lightweight.
I am Carol. I know Carol Beck. Hi, Carol. I miss seeing you. Hugs, hugs, hugs. Virtual hugs. I love virtual hugs. Robert Wheeler, yes, cheers. Robert Wheeler is our sales rep. Monica Blue, just want to personally, but after these past 8 weeks and all the education, thank you. Thank you very much. We're glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, come along. Come join our family. We're a lot of fun.
Yeah, please. We've loved getting to know, like Carolyn said, there's names that pop up and we're like, oh, look, Aaron Davis is one of them. He's come back to a few of them. I know that Nicole Guy is on. She's been on a few. We love seeing
Amy Miller, yoo-hoo, you get the shout out. I mean,
Amy Miller definitely gets a shout out.
Sarah Kitchen, that's one I keep remembering too.
Yes, that's a good one too. Do the credits apply to future professionals as well? That's a Carolyn, do credits apply to future professionals?
No, you have to be a licensed cosmetologist. So it's just a state board thing. You got to be a licensed cosmetologist for that. So if you want, you could sign up and get the certificate where it asks for your license number, just put student. So that way when I go to submit to state board, I'll just remove your name on it. But yeah, it doesn't. Oh, Sarah's from Penzone. Sarah, I've probably met you. I don't know what your name is. I probably have met you. But anyways, yeah, future professionals, you guys are going to get the Geno badge and the Geno certificate.
Yes.
But if you're an Ohio future professional, you are welcome to sign up for the certificate. Just put student where it says license number, so I know. Yeah, thanks everybody. This has been a lot of fun. We really have enjoyed doing this, and like I said, Livia and I are gonna continue doing this. You know, we've just had a lot of fun with it, and we know Michigan's not back into the salon, and I know some of our other states that we sell to, Ohio, Michigan, and Indiana, are the states that we can sell into, and just because they're back and you're not doesn't mean we're going to stop these. We're going to continue doing them. We may not do them every day, but we're certainly going to have something for you.
Absolutely.
3 times a week. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to mention real quick that we do have a couple more sanitation classes coming up. I did see somebody ask about that too. So we work with Lucaside at Monaco Blue, and so we have a really awesome sanitation class on the 20th and the 27th. If you are a professional from any state, but as you're getting back into the salon, that's a really good thing to make sure that you get certified in. And we do offer Lucaside sanitation certificates with those classes.
Yep. All right, everybody. It's been great seeing you. Can we come in and grab a small spray bottle, Mark? Come in. The store's open. Yeah, Carol, the store is open. Our Dublin store in Ohio off of Sawmill Road is open. They do have, I think you have to wear a mask and have to do, yes, you can grab Lucaside. Yeah, I think they have it. You might want to call ahead.
Yeah, we are out of stock on our website for Lucaside products right now. We're working hard to get them restocked, but we cannot order them on back order right now. So just keep that in mind. But we're still really thankful you guys came and hopped on and joined us. It was an amazing class. Geno's incredible.
Oh my God. Thank you guys so much. We love all of you, and we'll see some of you tomorrow.
Yes. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.